We're going to take a look at a feature in Darkroom that will allow you to change text on templates that have already been processed after an event. And what we're going to do is we're going to work with this template here. As you can see, it's just a sample template that I have, and I have space for some text. And I have the date here, and this is the automated date line, percent long date percent, and we'll see that in just a moment. And what this does is this pulls the date from the computer. So on the day of the event, it will put in this date. Now, if you have an event that goes past midnight, what's going to happen is the strips that are done after midnight are going to change to the next day. So this would be Wednesday, June 28th, after we hit 12:01. So what we want to do is we want to be able to change that. So as we go to the Prints tab up here, we're going to take a look, and we're going to see that they've already been processed, they've already been printed, and we're going to give digital copies to folks. So I'm going to export these. Now, say for some reason, A, the date was wrong, or B, maybe this date line was the bride and groom's name and there was a typo that wasn't discovered till afterwards. We're going to go ahead and fix that. Now, it's a one-on-one process, meaning I have 2 strips here. I'm going to have to do this 2 times. If you have 100 strips, you're going to have to do it 100 times. So keep that in mind. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this first strip, and I'm going to double-click it. And this brings us up in a different kind of editor. This is not a template editor. This is actually an image editor. And the nice thing is these text fields are still editable even after the digital image is made in Darkroom. So what I'm going to do quite simply is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to double click on the date line here, Tuesday. And we have the same text object window that appears in our template editor. Now up here at the top, you can see I have percent long date percent. And I'm just going to change that to a manual date. We'll just call it July 1st, 2017. Now, the problem with this, using the percent long date percent, anytime you use the automated text with percent signs, you don't have a lot of control over it. I always prefer to enter in manual dates. You know the date of the event, you might as well just type it in. So what I've done is I've made a change. I'm going to hit OK. And you can see that it's changed here on the template. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And when we come out, it's not going to change automatically. You can do one of 2 things to make sure that you did it right. You can highlight the one that you changed. We can right-click, and we can go up here and hit Refresh. And now that's the new image. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to this guy here. I'm going to double-click him. Come up in the image editor. I'm going to double click on the date. I'm just going to type it in. And again, I'm going to hit OK. I forgot the comma, so I'm going to go back in. Because if we're doing this, let's do it right. And then hit OK again. And again, I'm going to hit Save Changes. Now, again, it didn't change right away on this image. It has to update. But as you go through your images, if I open this guy back up, I'm not going to make any changes, but I'll hit Save anyway. Okay, it's still not going to automatically refresh everything. So what you can do is you can use Control A. There we go. And select all of the images that once you're done, you can select them all, right click and do refresh. And what it's going to do is it's going to refresh all of them. So there we go. All right, everything now has the new date. So from here, if I do the Control A and I come up to do copy or burn files, all the new digital images will have this new text on here. If I choose to reprint all of these by going here, they'll print with the new text on here. And this is not just the date. I can go back in. I can change the main text line here. Let's just do test, just so we can see the change. And this is the one I did, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh. and there it is. It comes out. So you can go in and make changes to the text after an event. Mind you, if you have used Save Output 1 and you have saved images already, you cannot edit those JPEGs. Those are done. But you can redo them by going to the Prints tab and going into each strip and making that change. Again, in a big event with 100 or more strips, it's going to be a process, but it can be done. And sometimes it's better to spend that time, especially if you misspell the bride's name or the groom's name at a wedding event. Go in and make those changes and then just reprint, redeliver digital images and printed strips, and everything will be great. And as we come out, you can see my original template still has that date because these are individual edits on these images. So if that ever happens, this is an easy way to do it. Again, takes a little time, but it can be corrected.